So I think what we'll do is we'll assemble this piece. We're going to inspect it to make sure that there's no wear on this pin. That seems quite good. There's no wear on the ball or anything like that, so we'll put some grease on the spring and we'll put some grease on the pin, and then we'll assemble this. We'll put some grease on the ball here and pop that in. So you push that in and down. There we go. And then we can put our little keeper on there. That's that on. That feels alright. Yeah, that feels alright. Nice that way, nice that way. Just going to put a little bit of oil around there. Now this should have a rubber cover on here, but it seems to be missing. I don't know what happened to that. Next we're going to find a gasket. There's no real liquids in here or anything just to stop water getting in. So I've just put some grease on there. You don't need too much. But I'm going to put a generous double of grease on the ball in there, and then we'll fit that. So we'll put the ball, we know that's in. There we go. Oh, there's a bit of silicone left on there. Look, let's take that off. And that's got rid of that. Yeah, they didn't have a gasket on it before, they just had silicone. Right, let's get the ball in. Line up the gasket. And then we'll find the bolts. What do we do with the bolts? There we are. Bloody silicone, man, it gets everywhere. So I'll fasten these bolts down and we'll come back. So now we can put the top cover on, the remote, sorry. I'm just going to make sure that this is tightened down, this screw, because I only just sort of put it in loose. Yeah, that's down. And what we're going to do, just to make sure, I'm just going to put a little pop mark on there, and that will keep that together. Now, make sure this surface is dry. No silicone on there. No silicone on there, and then we'll pop on the top cover. So we're going to, because there's oil in this, we're going to use a gasket with just a little bit of sealer on it. Just a smear. We've seen us do this before. We just smear it around. We don't want it to leak, because you see how thin it is here, eh? A lot of people over tighten gaskets and then they crack. Wait a minute, I haven't finished yet. Don't it? Looks like rubbish, doesn't it? Because I smear it with my fingers, you see. That's why my shop coats are all covered in cack. One more. This is starting to go off already, this tube. Right, again we just smear it around so it's even. There we go. Right, which way around does this go? Bingo. We can't set the plungers like these things until we get the remote on. So again, we line up that piece with the yoke, and this piece here goes into here. Line the dowels up, and that's it. Now we're going to bolt that down. So this is the reverse plunger. I think we'll have a look at it and see what's inside and see if it all moves. Ooh, there's a spring. There's a spring and a plunger. That should come out. Oh, oh, oh. See, it's all wet after being in the ultrasonic. So there's a spring at the bottom. Yeah, it didn't get that grease. Well, it wouldn't get that grease out because there's nowhere for it to go. So I think what we'll do is we'll just wash this. We'll put this through the washer again. Now it's stripped, and then we'll just check all the pieces. We'll get the thick of the grease off, you know. Oh, that's not too bad. Oh, there's a ball in there, that's right. There it is. There's the ball. So what we're going to do all those little tiny particles, we're going to find our our strainer. Don't need that. Don't need them. We'll put them all in this basket. And let the ultrasonic do the work. So these parts have come out of the washer, they're looking quite nice. We just want to make sure that that plunger is a nice sliding fit. So we're going to put some grease on the spring, pop that into there, quite a heavy spring, and then the ball. Again, let's take this out again. Just make sure that that is nice and greased up, that plunger, because we might not be near for another few years. Oop, spring. The grease will help keep the water out as well. So that's into there. Our little ball down there. Spring, well, we'll put some grease on the spring as well. Put that down. We'll tighten the cap up once it's on the car, on the gearbox. Now it did come with a shim, and there is a way of calculating this, but you know something, I'm just going to put the shim back on because there wasn't a problem with reverse. That was fine. I could understand it if we're putting a new unit on. Now I think it's this R380 doesn't have this unit, and I've noticed that the fifth gear one, there was a plunger on here too, in the book, but on here it's just a nut and bolt, like an adjuster. So we're going to leave that too. It's not because we're lazy, but there's no point adjusting it because it was fine. So let's put this on. And then we'll commence to set up the springs. Right. I've got a socket there. That's better. Ooh. That's all right. That worked, eh? do the same to the other side. Put the socket on, pull it up, and then try and get the socket. What we're going to do now is adjust the bias springs here. I've fitted the plunger on the side. And now we're going to fit the bias springs. Now, what you have to do is get it into third and fourth. What's that? That's third. And what we've got to do is move these so that that cross piece here is supported by the spring, but not quite touching these bolts here. You see these are down a little bit. So what we do is turn them till they touch and then back them off half a turn. Oh, that one's a bit high. Make sure it is in third. Yeah. So till it's free, turn it till it touches a bit, and then back it off half a turn. Lock it off. There's reverse. Where's that? That's first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Lovely jubbly. Let's try it again in for reverse. Oh, lovely jubbly. I think that's sorted. Because you see, you have to, when you're in first, you push against the spring, but when you're in third and second, third and fourth, it just goes in and out. Yeah, no, that's all right. I'm happy with that. Now, this hasn't got a rubber cover on, but I think I've found a used one, so I'm going to pop that on. And then that gearbox is done. All I've got to do now is bolt this bit on, and strip this down and put it all back together again and greased it all up. That plonks into there like that. And then we're going to give it a pressure test. Right, so I've got the little rubber cover on there. The gears are changing great. The last test is a smoke test. Ooh. Put that on. That's pretty damn good. So we know it's not leaking. So now we can put it on its side and put some oil in it. Right, I don't know what happened there. There's a video on. So here we go. Just going to put a litre of oil in. These are terrible pourers, these things here. Just to say that we have got some oil in it, because like I said before, I have had people run these dry. So I put a no oil sticker on them, you know, but I'll put like half a dozen on this time. Right. One last thing I wanted to show you. Those collars. This is the later type, this is the early type. And you see there's a distinct difference in the heights. That's probably why I couldn't get that clip on. Right. That's that done. Now where's the shifter? Shifter. We'll spin that oil around a bit, you know. There. feels really nice. Yeah, it feels really nice. And no problems with the reverse. Sorted. No problems with fifth. This high-low works nice, it just needs linking up. There we go. I'd be happy with that. All I've got to do is take off my test breather here, and that will be done. So the next job is a little easier job, and we've got to do the LT230. Now we're stuck for parts for that, but not the end of the world. I always put new copper washers on these. These are part of my little kits I'm working on. So those seal up nice. Like I say, now we don't want to tip it over or anything like that, otherwise it could leak oil out. So that's good. That's an LT77. Oh, it's been some problems as this one. But I think it was just setting up that was the worst thing. It feels nice now. I hope you like that. It was long, wasn't it? See you later. Ta-da.